scandal factory now cranking up. Democrats already pouncing on President Trump's firing of FBI Director James Comey, likening it to a Nixonian move. They're now demanding a special prosecutor. Republicans firing back that attacking Trump is the only play that Democrats have left. New Mexico Democrat Senator Martin Heinrich said that, quote, President Trump's dismissal of FBI Director Comey smacks of President Nixon's Saturday Night Massacre. Vermont Democrat Senator Pat Leahy calling it, quote, shocking, labeling it nothing less than Nixonian. Joining me now, presidential historian and author of Game of Thorns, he is Doug Wead. Doug, should they be good to see you, sir? Is it right to compare it to Nixon? I mean, Nixon did not fire his FBI director. Bill Clinton did.
This is pretty pathetic. It's like comparing apples with oranges. I mean, you look at Archibald Cox, who was fired by Nixon. He was supported by both Democrats and Republicans. You look at Jim Comey, who was fired by Donald Trump. He was criticized by both Republicans and Democrats. And when you look at Archibald Cox, he found evidence connecting Nixon to the cover-up of Watergate. When you look at Jim Comey, he publicly says he found no evidence connecting Donald Trump to Russian collusion. And finally, there's the succession. After Archibald Cox was fired, then the Attorney General didn't support it. He resigned, and so did the Deputy Attorney General Ruckelshaus. He resigned. In this case, the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General stand by the decision the president has made. So it is not only not the same thing, it's exactly the opposite. It's a backward mirror.
Archibald Cox was a special prosecutor at that time, right?
Yeah, big difference.
Okay.
I think what's going on is the Democrats are focusing on a special prosecutor because they don't want anybody looking at Andrew McCabe, who was Hillary Clinton's choice to become director of the FBI, because his wife received $700,000 in campaign funds when she ran for state office. It's a very dicey story and a dicey situation.
Yeah, Doug. And by the way, there are 10 investigations, 3 of them at the FBI. 10 of them into this alleged Russian-Trump collusion. Let's get to MSNBC's Chris Matthews. He basically called President Trump's firing of Comey, he equated it to, quote, fascism. Watch.
A little whiff of fascism tonight, I think it's fair to say.
Absolutely.
A little whiff of, I don't care about the law, I'm the boss.
What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, in Game of Thorns, we lay out that moment where Hillary Clinton, in a little radio interview, the mic is off, and they asked her in the room, what are you going to do with Jim Comey? And she didn't say she was going to fire him. She kind of rolled her eyes and said that Jim Comey is going to find out. Everybody knew she was going to fire him and promote the man who exonerated her in the FBI, which was Andrew McCabe, that was what was going to happen. I think the Democrats and the national media, their allies in the national media, have to keep hammering away on this talking point of special prosecutor so that the discussion does not move to the next in line, who's now exposed, and that's Andrew McCabe and his wife and this money.
We've got breaking news. There are now Trump protests, anti-Trump protests breaking out here in New York City outside Trump Tower. Again, raising you can see in the sign there, we just showed it just seconds ago, but they're calling it fascist America. You know, Chris Matthews, Doug, also has these questions about what a president can be impeached for. Listen to what Chris Matthews is asking. Watch.
Can you impeach somebody for just being who they are?
What do you think of that?
Well, we knew all along that impeachment is their game and it's where they're headed. They still can't let go of the fact that they didn't win the election. They being the national media. We disobeyed. We misbehaved. We voted for the wrong person, and they're gonna get it back by hook or crook. They're going to take this election back any way that they can, and that appears to be the spirit and the attitude. And so far, it isn't working.
Doug Wead, historian, author of Game of Thorns. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Good to see you.